today I've really given myself a challenge. We're coming up to the holidays and I'm going to be making a 3D Christmas cake. Now I'm going to be making an orange chocolate cake for the inside of this tree. So, really simple recipe, it's an all-in-one method. In this bowl here I have my flour, cocoa powder, and I also have baking powder. So I'm going to sieve this together in my mixing bowl. Now you can do this by hand if you want to. And done. I'm now going to pop this onto my mixer, and I'm using a paddle attachment. If you're using a hand mixer, then just use the whisk attachment. Into that I'm going to put my sugar. Next we have 5 eggs going in. I've got the zest and the juice from 1 orange going in. And unlike other recipes that I use where I tend to use butter, for this one I'm going to use oil because I find that on this recipe it just makes it light. And all I need to do is mix this until it all comes together. And there we go. I've got a big pan here, not quite sure of the measurements on this, but you can use just 2 cake tins. Now this is my Ninja tray, and it's about 28 centimetres by 24 centimetres, so it's quite large. But 2 round sponge tins will be good too. That's what I've used before. So we're just going to spread this out nice and evenly across the tin, and as you can see this is quite sticky, it's a bit toffee like, but this will be beautiful. So we're going to cook this on 170 degrees centigrade. I'll put the other temperatures up in a moment. And all we're going to do is cook that for 20 minutes. We're going to leave it then, take it out of the paper onto a rack, and we're going to leave it to cool. I'll see you when this is cooked. As you can see, my cake is now ready and cooled. Now it's time to make our filling. You can use a buttercream if you prefer on this cake, but I just find that too sweet. So I'm going with cream. I'm using 500 ml of cream. Now to stabilise my cream, I have here mascarpone, and that's around 180 grams going into here, because French whipping cream is not brilliant. I'm also going to be adding just about 3 tablespoons of icing sugar into that. I'll pop that to one side. Now I'm going to whisk this to stiff peaks. I'm going to take this out for a minute because what I need is some cream to go on the inside of the cake. So I'm going to whip some out quick. I'm not putting a nozzle on this. I'm going to put my blender hook or whisk back on, because now I'm going to colour it for the outside of my tree when I get to it. There we go. And I'm going with a traditional green. So I'm using a gel food colouring for this. There we go. Green. And I'm going to whip this now. And there we have it. Look at that. How's that for a beautiful colour? Now I've put that in the fridge while I deal with all this, and then I'll put that in a piping bag to finish off. Okay, so we've got everything ready. So it's a matter of constructing now. So I have just 4 cookie cutters ranging in sizes. Now don't forget, you can make these as big or small as you like, but you need to have cutters in smaller and smaller shapes. So here we go. I'm going to cut a base and another base because I'm going to make at least 2 of these. I want 2 of the next size. Oh, that one's come out nicely. 2 of the next size. And 2 tiny ones, which can go just about anywhere, can't they? 2, 1, 2. Right, so I'm going to carry on just cutting and putting these in sets. Well, my cakes are cooked, they're cut, I'm all organised. I've got lots of different things to put on this. Now I'm making 2 of the cakes on plates because they're going to my son's, and so I really do need something stable. Right, I'm going to start off with my white cream, and I need to just snip a bit off the end of that. Starting with the big one, or the biggest one should I say, I'm putting homemade apricot jam in mine because I don't want to put cream all over this because there's going to be a lot of cream on the outside. So what we're going to do is just layer these. Doesn't matter if it falls down. We're just going to layer these pieces that we cut and jam in the middle. That will complement that orange beautifully. And this homemade jam is absolutely delicious. And then we have our top bit. There we go. And a tiny bit of jam in that. Oh, there we go. And then my top is going on. Now I just need to look at it. Oh, I've got a turntable here, look at me. Because what happens is I tend to do these so they look a bit like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, so I need to get them straightened up a bit. Okay, I'm just going to do the same with the other pieces here. So I'm going to do cream around the outside like this, jam in the middle, a bit more than that, that's a bit stingy. And I've got lots of this, I made this in the summer. Next one, just make sure you get the right sizes. And we just carry on stacking until these are done. Now again, I'm going to look, oh, they look quite straight by way of a change, so that's 2 done. I'm going to crack on and do the other 2 and then I'll be back. My cakes are all together now. You can always move them about a bit if you don't quite like what they look like, but I think they're looking pretty good. Now I've got 2 on one cake board here, and the reason for that is these are for me and my partner. So what I'm going to do now is just give these go downwards. Just very carefully, try not to knock it. All the way around, just do some stripes. You'll see it come in on that other camera in a moment. Because what we need to do is give these what's called a crumb coat. Because I can't do the decoration until we've done this. I can always clean my board up after. It's not a problem. Here we go. Now this doesn't have to be really thick. What it does need to do is just cover that crumb so that it doesn't come through on our green layer that we're going to put on. And it also helps provide this shape. Then I'm going to take my angled palette knife and I'm just going to spread this on just to cover the crumb. That's all it is, to cover the crumb. You can always put more in if you need it. There we go. Too shabby. And just literally give it a rough coat so that when we start piping the green, we don't end up with cake coming through. That's all this is for. So this can be as rough as you like. Now you can see you're starting to get that shape. Doesn't matter if there's a few bits showing. A little bit more there. And you can see that's coating nicely. Okay, so I'm going to crack on and get the other ones done. And I'll see you when these are coated. Okay, so I've just done one coat on there and you can see, if you look closely, that the cake has sort of picked off at the edges there. Which is why we put the first coat on, because the last thing we need is the coat, the cake coming through this layer. I have some of my green icing in the bag and I'm using star nozzles for this. I'm going to start at the bottom and just do some little shell designs. Well, little blobs, put it that way. Just around that edge. Can clean the plate up afterwards, that really isn't a problem. There we go. So that's the bottom of my tree done. Now, I'm going to pipe. And if your cream is stabilised, it should leave a nice little pattern. Now, as you know, my piping skills are not great. And this would probably stand out better with butter icing. I just think it's too sweet with butter icing on this. And look, we're getting there. Around the top. Infill holes if I want to. Do you know what? I'm not even going to. How about that? Not too shabby at all. All we've got to do now, obviously I've got to do these two. I've got another one in the fridge, is we need to start decorating. Now I did make coloured baubles. And I made these with just icing sugar and corn syrup. Now in here I've got a tiny little nozzle and I'm going to make a sort of, what do you call it, tinsel effect here, and it'll also hide a multitude of sins with my terrible piping. There we go, there's one piece, and I'm going to do another piece here. This is why turntables are a good idea, although I'm not very good with turntables, because ideally you want two hands to do this, don't you? Then I'm going to put some little baubles in the white. I'll go red on this layer, I think. So we've got red there. I've also got these little butterflies. I've got some hearts. And I've also got some stars I made from this icing that I'm going to put on top. I'm going to carry on decorating, and I'll see you when they're done. Well, welcome back. Now, I've done my trees. Don't they look gorgeous? My little stars are wonderful, but I only made two as a trial, so I've got one here and one here. And so the rest, I've just put these little beads on that I made. I think they look quite good. I'm not going to be doing a taste test today because these are actually for an occasion. But don't they look wonderful? I mean, you can decorate these however you like. My decorating skills are practically zero, but I tried. So I'm going to put these in the fridge now so that they can set properly. And don't forget, I've got this beautiful orange chocolate cake on the inside, which is a real big surprise given that they're all green. Well, if you liked what you saw, please like, share and subscribe to see me making more delicious, if not interesting, food. Thank you for watching.